All right. Well, she said it herself. Her agenda requires repetition and repetition, but I think I speak for all of us when I say it's a tired tale that we're getting exhausted from.
I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
I come from the middle class. I come from the middle class. And I will never forget where I come from.
Canada! Well, sort of. But according to her campaign, that little line right there is the reason she has closed the gap with President Trump in polling on the economy.
Even more than those plans that she talked about in those first few weeks of becoming the candidate, where she established herself as really focused on these issues, she told a story about her own life. She told a story that really connects, I think, with a lot of middle class and working class people across this country.
But according to the latest Fox News polls, the American people, they're not on board. 53% of Americans put their trust in Trump over Harris when it comes to the economy.
Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce is here, along with Breitbart economics and finance editor John Carney. John, do you think that this, and I start with John because this is what he writes about for a living, do you think that this gap continues to widen? Because there's some things that we've been talking about here. Housing costs are actually increasing, affordability is worsening, and health care premiums have skyrocketed the last 2 years, and people are finding out right now what's happening next year. So the issue of affordability is worsening in terms of just living a life in the United States.
Absolutely. I think that Kamala Harris at first had a chance. People said, okay, I'll give her a shot. Let's see what her economic program is. And her economic program was basically non-existent to, I'll give you a check for $25,000 if you buy a new house. People are sick of it. They know that all her policies are going to be inflationary. She hasn't been ever able to differentiate herself from Biden at all. And I think that's why she made a little ground against Trump. She's doing better than Biden was. But Trump is up 8 to 10 points in every poll that you can see.
But Tammy, this is what confuses me. So Trump is up by 8 points. Kamala Harris has 45% of the people that say they think she'll do a better job on the economy than Trump. I'm like, what rock have these people been living under? She must be doing something right. I mean, maybe it is the Vibes campaign that's working, because Donald Trump should be up 75 to 25 on who will do a better job on the economy.
Well, I think that there is a given that if you're the nominee of a major American political party, you must be okay. Right? That was the argument, by the way, of when they were first established, was that the parties will know who is more suited to be president. You don't have to sort through all the bad guys. We're going to do that for you, and so we're going to present you with the appropriately vetted people. That was the argument for party-based candidacies. And I think Americans still believe that. If you've gotten to a certain point, we presume that you know what you're doing. Mostly, it's transparent lives, like Trump's life has been transparent. Elon Musk, you know how he got there. With Kamala Harris, you don't. And we were expecting to find out, and they haven't. So part of it's a wish fantasy. Part of it is a given that you just want it to be her, so you're going to lie to yourself, which doesn't work. And I think that ultimately there's a presumption that also, as we've seen with Biden, she won't even really be the president. So everybody else knows what's going on. Somebody else is going to run this anyway, and we hate Trump. That's where that works. The numbers are going to look very different, I predict, on Election Day, and as we get the numbers following that day.
James Freeman wrote about this. She's not talking about herself. She's not talking about the American people. Nope. She's talking about Donald Trump and just...
It's not working either, because all the polls show, when people ask, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? They say, no, I wasn't. 4 years ago was the worst of the pandemic, and yet people still say, I am not better off today than I was then. When they're asked, did Donald Trump make you better off? The polls show, yes, he did. When they say, did Biden-Harris make you better off? They say no. When they ask another question, who will do better, who will the economy do better under? Again, it's Donald Trump wins that poll over and over again. And even when you go to the battleground states, Donald Trump is ahead like 8 to 10 points in every one of these states. He is running away with the economic question. I think people, look, that is what this election is going to turn on. Every poll shows that's the #1 issue for people, and it's Trump's.
Can I just add to that why that's so important, because you're correct, is that they've tried to trick people into believing that Trump's the problem with all the economic issues. But the Americans have been able to separate. They know what was good and who was responsible, and what's been bad and who's responsible. I think they've excised out the nature of the COVID virus and the governmental reaction, and they're correct to do so, and we're seeing that.
Did you know Obama actually brought that up the other day about how many more people died because of Trump? It was just insane that he's still talking about that. All right, I'm going to read this, and then you get the question. So there's Washington Post call, because I talk too much. The Washington Post call, there's a long, it's like an advertorial that the Washington Post wrote, this writer. The new American dream should be a townhouse. Well, to add insult to that injury, an opinion columnist in his newsletter wrote this: the American dream ought to be the Cadillac of aspirations, a Schlitz down the drain. Pop the champagne expectation. It feels a little odd to talk about right-sizing it, but in an age of tight money and it's Toyota Camrys and Kirkland wine, it's time to readjust the scope a bit. Take it away, Sean.
So, John, this is outrageous. Again, the American people have every right to yearn for and strive for a big house, a big car, a big yard, a big paycheck, and to say, no, you're not entitled to that. Reduce your expectations. This is so insulting.
Right. What they want to do is basically manage American decline. That is their dream for America. And Donald Trump is saying, no, America can be great again.
Yes.
That is going to be the winning message from now to Election Day. People are already voting. Everybody says the winning message on Election Day. It's already the winning message in those 19 million votes that have already been cast. It will be the winning message. We are not voting to shrink your expectations, live in a box, don't try hard, right? That's what they're saying. That's not going to happen. The American people reject that. They want greatness again.
The smug, condescending, it's a disgusting smear of the American people. What we're capable of, also this presumption that we can't move ourselves up at all, it is disgusting. And that's what we're fighting against. This is what this election's about.
I want to be sick of winning again. Wasn't that great? When
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Donald, stop. I've had enough winning. No more.
I want to be sick of choice. Of so much choice. Nobody castigate me for saying this. I shop based on the crap that's on sale. I'm tired of having to shop like that. In the grocery store. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of them trying to ban gasoline-powered automobiles, and this is what they're doing.
What a crazy response to people being upset about housing affordability.
Yes.
To say, you know what? We're just going to put you in a much smaller house. That'll be our answer.
Then you'll be
dream smaller, people. Dream smaller.
And it's like illegal immigration. There'll be no more illegal immigrants because we're going to legalize everyone. I mean, it's this managing the framework, as you've noted. It's just disgusting.
Right. You should be accepting that your wages were destroyed by inflation. You have smaller wages, smaller houses, smaller cars, no electricity, and you'll have to shower for 45 minutes because it's not going to get warm.
And rely on the government. The
Right.
government's going to be here to help you.
That's
Big
right.
Daddy's here.
That's right.
That's what they want.
One quick thing.
Go.
Since the Federal Reserve cut rates 5 weeks ago tomorrow, long-term interest rates have skyrocketed. They're at 4.2% today. Your 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is heading back to 7%. The affordability crisis is now getting worse. That's probably why they're writing this crap.
Next year is going to be rough for whoever wins. It's going to be rough, but only Trump can get us out of it.
No doubt. Tammy and John, good to see you both. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you.
We got excited.
It was so fun.
Man.
Sparkly,
I want
engaged
choice.
conversation.
I don't
You
want to
shouldn't
have
choice.
Yeah.
I want stuff on
have
the
to, like,
shelves. That's what I want.